Welcome to accountingexl.com. This is a brief tutorial that shows you how the Accounting Excel 1.0 works. So as you can see here, there's four tabs. There's a journal tab, a trial balance tab, account detail tab, and a list tab. So let's start with the journal tab. So this is the tab where the source information will come from to populate the trial balance and the account detail. So as you can see here, there's a spot to enter the date, debit, credit. These amounts in blue here are formulas, and they will automatically populate based off of this information that you enter. So there's entry amount, vendor, customer, account name, account number, financial statement description. So once we start entering journal entries in here, this will feed into this trial balance. Now this trial balance is a pivot table, and as you can see here right now it's NA because we haven't input any information into the journal tab. But once we start entering information, we can refresh this and it will show your trial balance for any given point in time. The next tab is the account detail tab. This tab will show you the account detail, all the transactions for any account that you have. Once we update the journal tab, this will also populate. And then the last tab here is the list tab. And as you can see, we have account name, financial statement, account number, vendor, customer. Pre-populated it with spots for 100 vendors and 100 customers. And you can add more if necessary. The account name, you can see that it's sorted by assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expense. And for each account, it has an account number, and it shows the financial statement for what that account is applicable to, so balance sheet or income statement. Okay, so if you remember from the Learn webpage at accountingexl.com/learn, if you haven't seen that, I suggest that you go look at that. This will make our tutorial a little easier because I have some examples in there that I'm going to go over. So the first example, and this was from the Learn page, was we started up our business with $100 of cash, and we got that cash from $20 was from your mom as a note payable, and $80 you contributed yourself. So let's just see how that works here with the tool. So if we just assume we started this on January 1st, 2015. Okay, so we just enter the date, and we have cash. If you remember, cash is an asset, and to increase your assets, you want to debit them because they have natural debit balances. So if we enter in $100 for cash, you can see here that this column turns red. So I've put this in here to show you, hey, your debits don't equal your credits. So it's turned red as a warning to let you know that you need to correct that so that your debits equal your credits. So as you can see here, we're going to put the $20 in from your mom. That was a note payable. If you remember, payables are liabilities which naturally have credit balance. So to increase a liability, you would want to credit. Okay, so you put $20 in, and then the remaining was your equity, the $80 that you put in. And you can see that the row turns back to its normal color. That means that your debits and credits are equal. So if we go here, we can, there's a drop down that shows you, lets you pick a vendor if there was a vendor applicable to this transaction. A customer, if there was a customer applicable to this transaction, and account name. So these three columns here are populated by the list tab. So you can see here, account name, these are our account names that appear in that drop down. These are the vendors that appear in that drop down, and these are the customers that appear in that drop down. So if we go back, for this transaction, there's no vendor that's really applicable, there's no customer applicable, but account name, we need to put our $100 to the cash account. So scroll up here, go to cash, and you can see that it populates the account number and financial statement for cash. Okay, and then we want to put this to note payable. So the $20, we want to say note payable. So if you were to type this in here, note payable, this is going to give me an error that's going to say that this account doesn't exist, pretty much. So here's the error. You have input an account name that does not appear on the account name list. Go to the list tab and update the account name list. Now I've made it so that you can still put this note payable in here. So if we click continue, it'll let you leave it there. But as you can see here, it doesn't know what to do. So it still has NA because we haven't set up this account. So in order to set up this account, you just want to go to the list tab. And in here, you can put note payable there. And if we go back to the journal, we can see that it populates with the information from the list tab, 201 and balance sheet. And it also will appear in your dropdown. So now that we have that, we can enter the next one. So we have equity. So let's just create an equity account real quick. So let's just call this contributions. So we have contributions here in the equity. We want to go to the journal, and from the drop down we can select contributions. And so we have our journal entry. It's balanced. We have our account names, we have our account numbers, we have our financial statement, and we just want to put a brief description of what it was. Startup of business. And that's all it is. And that's your entry point there. So now if we go to the trial balance, this is a pivot table. As you can see right now it has NA because we didn't have any information in there. But if we right click and hit refresh, you can see that it populates with cash, note payable, and contributions. And it's balanced. You can see down here the grand total is 0. That means that it's balanced. If this was ever not 0, that means that your trial balance would not be balanced, and you'd want to go back to the journal, see if this column's red, see if your debits equal your credits, and see if you can correct the error. So that is how the trial balance works there. And then if you go to the account detail, you can see that our transaction here has been populated. So startup of business, 1/1/2015. You can see the amount here is 0 because we have all accounts selected here. But if we wanted to see the account detail for cash only, we could go here on the drop down, click cash, and it shows you, there you go, you have $100 of cash in your bank. Okay, so now we have it, that journal entry entered. Let's go ahead and continue to enter in the rest of them. And I'm just going to enter in the first one of the examples. So we sold a car for $100. Let's put in 100, and we got cash for $100. Okay, let's just say that we did this on January 2nd. And we sold this car to a customer, so let's go and update our list for our customer. And let's see, who's somebody that we can do. How about Johnny Appleseed? Okay, so Johnny Appleseed's our customer. We can go back here, select Johnny Appleseed. All right, and we received some cash, so we want to debit cash because we're increasing it. And then we earned some revenue because we sold our car. So if we look here, we have revenue, but we don't have any account names. You could keep it revenue one if you wanted, but to me it makes more sense to call it car sales or something like that. So I'll make this car sales. Okay. Go back to the journal, select car sales from our dropdown, and there we go. So we just want to put in a description real quick. Sold a car. Okay. And if you remember, that car cost us $80. So let's go ahead and put in the cost as an expense. Put in our 80. And we bought that car from a vendor, so let's input a vendor into our list. Right now we don't have any. So we go to our list, vendor. We'll just call this car vendor. Car vendor. Okay, create a new vendor. And in this case, what we did is we paid cash to our car vendor. So we want to decrease cash, so we're going to credit cash. And we had an expense because we purchased this car from somebody else. So if we go to our list, we can create a new expense line. Right now we have expense 1, but let's make this car purchases. Okay, so now we can go back here, enter our expense. Oh, car purchases. Change that real quick. And there we go. So here we bought a car. Alright, so now you can see that we have those transactions entered. If we go back to our trial balance, hit refresh, you can see that it updates the balance sheet, updates the income statement, and our grand total is 0, which means our debits equal our credits. Here our column is blue, so we're all good. And you can see that on our account detail, it updated our cash. It put in a customer, Johnny Appleseed, put in the vendor, car vendor, and you can see the balance of our cash is $120. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enter in the rest of the examples, and I'll be back in a second and we can just walk through those real quick, but I think you get the point. There's a couple small things I want to show you. Here we still have NA. Once you have entered some transactions and you're able to update this on the income statement, you're able to manipulate this pivot table. And once I enter in the rest of the transactions, I'll kind of show you how you can move some things around. But if you want to get rid of this NA, you very simply just click on the drop down here, select the field that you want to filter this by. So right now we want to filter by financial statement because that's the highest level. And to get rid of that NA, you just simply click the NA there so that it's only showing the balance sheet and income statement. And then now you have a trial balance that looks nice and clean. Once I come back, I'll show you some more things, how you can move some stuff around, that you can put these accounts in the order that you want. But I'm going to go ahead and enter those real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I went ahead and entered in the rest of the transactions. You can see here, starting with the $200 here. I entered in from the examples in the learn material. We sold 20 T-shirts for $10 a piece, and we bought those T-shirts for $5 a piece. So that's this transaction here. We also sold 40 cars. We sold those 40 cars for $1,000 a piece, and we bought those cars for $500 a piece. So that is this transaction here. And then we also received rent of $2,400 for our 3 houses that we had rented at $800 a piece. So that's $2,400 here, and then we owed property taxes on the houses that we rented of $300. So that's this transaction here. And then we also received bank interest from the bank of $3. So that is this transaction here. And I just put in some dates, just kind of progress through the months here. As you can see, I also updated our vendor list. I added the county tax authority for the taxes. I added a t-shirt vendor. And then on the customer side, I believe I added this car dealer incorporated and the t-shirt store incorporated. And then I also changed a couple accounts. We look at the lists. I added in revenue, I added rental income and interest income. And then for the expenses, I added t-shirt purchases and property tax expense. I also added another liability called accrued property taxes. Usually, your property taxes are paid either once or twice a year, so you don't really have a cash transaction every month. But so I added those accounts, and let me just show you. So we entered those journal entries here, and you can see I've entered them all in. And if we go here and we updated the trial balance, so I just went and clicked refresh, and now I have a trial balance. And you can see that it's still balanced here. We're all good here. It's all blue, so we're good. And what I was mentioning before is that you can rearrange these around. So if you look at your balance sheet, usually you want to keep things in order as they are on your list here. So all the assets are together, all the liabilities are together, and then all the equities together, revenues together, and expenses are together. But here you can see that I have a liability here for accrued property taxes, and down at the bottom underneath my equity. So whenever I do this, you can rearrange these by clicking on, just hover over until it gets to this 4 arrows, and you just right or left click on it, and you can drag it up to where you want to put it. So let's put it up underneath cash. So then it puts it in order. So now I have my assets on top, liabilities, and then my equity. So my balance sheet is in this order. And then you can do the same thing with the income statement. So usually what I'll do is I'll put all the revenue just in this order right here. So I have the revenue and then the expenses. But then if you look at this trial balance, you can see car sales are up here, car purchases are here, because it kind of goes in the order that you put it in on your journal tab. So to rearrange this, you can just go here. You want your t-shirt sales up there by your car sales, so you just move it up. And then your rental income, you want to put that up there with your revenue also, so I put that up here. And then your interest income. And so you can rearrange it into any order that you want. You can see the total stay the same. Grand total is 0, so we're all balanced. And now you have a nice trial balance. So there's just a couple more things I just want to show you real quick. A lot of times people ask for a profit and loss statement. So what they're asking for is the income statement right here. So this is your profit right here, $22,223 on the income statement, because that's your revenue minus your expenses gets you to that 22,000. So if you wanted to just run and print out an income statement, you can come up here and you can select just the income statement. So if you want to just show the income statement, here you have an income statement total. Now see, your grand total will change here because you don't have your balance sheet there to offset. So then you can just print this off, and this is your profit and loss. Let's put this back. And if you wanted to just show the balance sheet, you could just click on the balance sheet also. So on your account detail, you can see my 22,623 matches my balance sheet 22,623. So some people, they want to see, their different types of revenue and things like that. You can click in here, say that you want to see your rental income. You can click on rental income and it'll show you your rental income. Sometimes you may want to see more than one item. So, well, let's look at car purchases. Say you want to see your car purchases. It'll show you your car purchases here. Shows you your dates. If you were to want to see all of your income from all of your t-shirt sales, car purchase or car sales and everything, you could click on the select multiple items and it'll show you. You can select your car sales, you can select your t-shirt sales, your rental income, and your interest income. This will show you all of your revenue together, and it shows you your total revenue for the year so far. So those are the kind of different things that you can do with this. If you're good at Excel, there's probably a lot more that you can do, and I plan on putting on more videos to show some different things, adding on some columns and things like that. But I feel like this is a very simple tool. It's something that I use whenever I have a client that needs to get their records up to date. I always use this, and it works great, and I just figured I would share it with the rest of the world. Well, thank you for your time, and hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed some training, and go to accountingexcel.com and download it. Thank you.